What's going on, y'all? This is Javon here, checking in with y'all. Just wanted to give y'all a little message here. Um, I had something to say here about like why you shouldn't worry about um why you shouldn't worry about your wife cheating on you and stuff. And I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna give you a couple signs like why you really shouldn't worry about it, especially like when you're not doing anything right. Me personally, I'm not married, but I had a couple girlfriends, you know what I'm saying, in the past, and I could see like when I was being faithful to them and stuff, and I wasn't doing that wrong, you know what I mean? I was doing everything right. I could see like God, showing me different stuff, you know what I'm saying? Um, Showing me signs of what they're doing or them having bad luck. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to get too deep into details or anything, but basically just like when you're focused on God, you know what I mean, you cast all your worries on to God, you know what I mean, he'll protect you. He'll protect you from all that. You know what I mean? Like say you're a truck driver or something, right? You're out there, you're working, you might be gone for a week or two, you know what I mean? Or 3 weeks at a time, and say you're taking care of your household or something like that, you know what I mean? And as a man, and you're just you might get a little worried or something like that about what your wife might be doing behind your back or something. But I'm telling you right now, if you run with God while you're out there the whole time, if you run with God and focus on God, you know what I'm saying, you'll be smooth. Like I said, he'll show you signs, you know what I mean? Like, and not saying that it's evil, but you know, um not saying that it's evil or anything, but like say something might happen to her car. You know what I mean? Something might happen to her car, or you know what I mean. She might just be getting into all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's signs. You know what I mean, that you got to pay attention to. See, sometimes people think that that might just be everyday occurrence. You know what I mean? The stuff happening every day. You know what I mean? But sometimes that could be just God showing you. You know what I mean? That's why you really shouldn't. You know what I mean? You really shouldn't worry. And that's how you really shouldn't worry about stuff like that. You know what I mean? You should focus on God more. You know what I mean? Because when you're actually leading right, you know what I mean? When you're leading right and doing right, you know what I mean? Everything prospers in your way. You know what I mean? So, you know, say you might have a cheating wife or something, and then all of a sudden, she stops cheating. You know what I mean? Because she keeps having bad luck. You know what I mean? If she keeps having bad luck, then you know what I'm saying, that's a sign, that God is trying to show you. Or she might have car trouble or problems, or things don't go right at her job or something like that. And I get it. Sometimes it's not always that, you know what I mean? But that those are some signs, you know what I'm saying, of you know, deception and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Betrayal and deception. So you just, what I mean, sometimes you gotta pray about it, you know what I mean? Pray that she changes. And one thing we really don't do a lot, you know what I mean? We really don't pray, you know what I mean? We really don't pray a lot, you know what I'm saying? We don't pray a lot when we need to, you know what I mean? Like when we really need, instead of worrying and stuff and arguing and fussing and fighting and all that crap, just pray to God, you know what I'm saying? And He can definitely change things for you, you know. But when people are so aroused with anger, you know what I mean, then it's like, then it's like and when people are so aroused with anger and stuff, you know what I mean, it's like, you forget to pray. You know what I mean? It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that when, you know what I mean, when you're upset, you know what I'm saying? So, you gotta learn how to, take a breather and just let God, you know what I mean, let God in and let God work, you know what I mean, work His magic how He does, you know what I'm saying? So, and because I said, you know what I mean, if you're a winner, you know what I mean, if you're a winner, you know what I mean, you might have to play the green game for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But that's overall, you know what I mean, that's overall you believing in God and having faith in God to work everything out. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you really care about that person or you love that person. You know what I mean? If you don't, then or whatever, you don't care, whatever, then you can go on and do what you want to do. But you can do whatever you want to do regardless. But I'm just trying to, give y'all, some encouraging words on, what I'm saying, how God really does. When you lead properly, you don't have to worry about cheating. You don't have to worry about your girl cheating on you and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? When you're leading properly. You know what I'm saying? Some people do have some nasty spirits in them where they pray to take them spirits out of them. You know what I'm saying? Some people do have some nasty spirits in them that that's what they get off on doing. You know what I mean? Some people actually get off on treating people bad. You know what I mean? Because they're hurt inside. You know what I'm saying? So they get off on treating people bad, and it's like they're not growing. You know what I mean? They're not growing to become better. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to. I'm not going to talk a whole bunch, but I just wanted to say that real quick. You know what I mean? Trust in God to keep building your relationship and keep leading properly. You know what I mean? Through Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? But y'all have a blessed day. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel. Like, subscribe, please.